Welcome to Layer by Layer. What do we got going on here? Well, let's just dive right in. First of all, a message to the audience, announcement if you will. We have a Patreon, and if you're not a part of that, you should go over there because that's where we share our STLs, and you also get early access to this show. So there, I did it. I gave them the update. Okay, first real topic of the day. Looking at the Prusa MK4. So this has come up a bunch. Everybody's wondering, are we going to use the machine? And first of all, no, we're not, because we don't use third-party machines. Slant 3D manufactures all of our own machines. That being said, what do we think of the Prusa MK4? Overall, I think it's a fine machine. It's fundamentally flawed because it's a bed slinger. We've done videos about this in the past. Bed slinger machines are fundamentally wrong and the wrong way to build a 3D printer. But the MK4 seems to be reasonably impressive. It's got some decent features. But the fact that it's such a small iteration from the MK3 or the MKS3, I'm saying all that wrong. Is that the fact that the original is that there's not been a big change to it. There hasn't been a fundamental architecture or hardware change. They've improved the main chip quite a bit. And the Prusa, the next extruder, is really cool. I'm worried a little bit that they may have overcomplicated that device. So it's possible that a bunch of engineers just went crazy and made something cool, but not really necessarily that much better than what was there before. So I have to get a closer look at it. But no, as far as like print farm machines, we don't use it. This also kind of leads into the idea of like Bamboo Labs. People have asked us, would we use Bamboo Labs in our farms and that kind of stuff? And again, the answer is no. We don't use third-party machines. Bamboo Labs also has the issue of we do a lot of work with governmental organizations. And you may have heard that Stratasys just got a big old bill because they sent files over to China. Well, if you're uploading a file to a Bamboo Lab through their cloud system, kind of sending it to China, which means that we can't really run a US-based print farm with Bamboo Labs machines. That being said, what they've done with the P1P and the X1 and all the rest of it, they're impressive machines. And we like them a lot, and we learn from them and see what they're doing. But it doesn't really influence our machines that much because we have kind of fundamentally different goals with what we want our machines to do than what from Bamboo Labs is doing. Bamboo Labs is still a consumer printer. It is not a print farm machine. It has fundamental issues with it in that regard, as in connected to like automation and longevity over time, because quite frankly, nobody knows how long one of those will actually last. And then there was the K1 series from Creality. Creality has always kind of been the cheap brand, the one that everybody likes to use, and it outputs good parts for a period of time. Obviously, inside of their demo video, it was pretty much just like the renders of the machine and the stats of what it can do. Again, we got to get closer to it, but it looks like the K1 is kind of less well built than the Bamboo Labs was. And I'm going to guess probably doesn't have the same quality of execution that Bamboo Labs does. Bamboo Labs has the requirement of both being a startup and just having a very deep amount of expertise around motion systems that Creality can't match, and neither can really any other printing company that I'm aware of. Those guys' background in DJI is so impressive that it's going to be really tough for other folks to catch up with what they're doing with the Bamboo Lab system. The K1 is very clearly almost a direct clone of the Bamboo Labs machines. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But no, we're really not interested in that one because Creality machines just in general as a brand don't hold up very well. And unless you're wanting a farm that's disposable where you just swap out a machine, chuck it, and then plug in a new one, it's not the best option. So yeah, we're not big fans of that. Announcement on 3D printer filament. So the filament is happening. We literally just got our extruder delivered the other day. We are waiting now for electricians to come in and get it all wired up because it's a 480 system like all those industrial machines are. We have to get it plugged into our building, get a plug put on it, all that rest, that kind of stuff. And we want to make sure that it's done right so that we don't blow the motor right when we do it ourselves if we DIY it. And a lot of the team just doesn't have time. So we're getting it placed and set up to where it can be turned on and we can start doing testing. That being said, at the same time, we're releasing a video this week about the spool, the Slant spool. I'm not sure, it may have come out or it may be coming out, but we're redesigning filament spools so that they're better set up for what they're meant to do with filament. And that is happening at the same time as we're getting the process set up. So we hope to really have a really cool kind of general filament announcement video coming out in the next few weeks. Again, there's a lot of things that can go wrong between here, we've got the machinery and everything set up, and actually shipping a part, because there's a lot of iteration, verification, that kind of stuff, because we don't want to just start making stuff and shove it out the door. We want to make sure that what we make is good. So we're kind of rethinking and re-verifying all of filament. Oh, question for all of you guys here. This is for down in the comments. Do you want your filament shipped in a box? Because when any piece of filament that is spooled up goes into a vacuum formed bag that's about a 5 mil, really thick, heavy plastic bag that's then vacuum sealed, I don't understand. I think that can take the effort of shipping and the abuse of shipping without being punctured. I might be wrong about this. But we'd like to eliminate the box because there's really no reason for it to be there. It's a wasted expense and a waste of resources and energy and all the rest of it. So if we could ship these spools of material without a box and just have them in the vacuum sealed bag with a shipping label on the side, would you guys be okay with that? This is something we were discussing just the other day because there's no reason for the box. It might even be better to just like double vacuum seal it too, which ultimately would probably be better than the other solution, because if a box is driven over by a truck, then you very likely may puncture the bag. But if the bag is just going through the conveyor lines and everything else of shipping, it can take a lot of abuse, especially if you get good ones, not cheapo vacuum seal bags. So we'd like to eliminate the box. So let us know if you guys would be all right with that. Okay, other announcements. Oh, the Fabbaloo Partnership. So we recently started talking to Fabbaloo. We are going to try to get another video out about every week that is the news. And we're going to basically be working with Fabbaloo to get certain news articles and stories out the door as a single dedicated 3D printing news video. We're going to try it out for a bit. It's been fun. We're going to work with those guys and try to create video-based content for Fabbaloo, and they'll have it on their site, and we'll have their stuff over here on the channel. So that'll be fun, and that video may have also already come out. But we're going to try to build on that because we just want to help out the industry as much as we can through this platform that we're kind of getting built here. Okay, next thing. Oh, 3D model reviews. So guys, on this channel, we've done a number of videos, design videos, where we just run through the whole process of creating a part optimized for mass production printing. We'd like to expand that a bit and basically review models that are submitted to us. So again, down in the comments, give us either models that you found on Thingiverse or Printables or wherever it happens to be. Or if you have a model directly, submit it to us at info@slant3d.com. And we'll pull it up and we'll just do a review either here in the podcast, or we might commit an entire video to it where we just look at those models and then break down, this is what's good for manufacturing, this is what's bad for manufacturing, this is what we tweak, this is what we pull, here's a trick that you can use, that kind of stuff. So that we get a lot more kind of brain share around that sort of stuff. Because there's a lot of work that can be done in educating folks how to design 3D models correctly. Next topic, layer lines. So the layer lines video, we released it a little over a week ago, I believe at this point. A lot of great feedback. It's been fun to watch. Layer lines are simply a feature of the process. And one of the key objections that people came up to was the isotropy. Basically the fact that, it's so strong in the X and Y, but then in the Z, because the layer lines delaminate, It's weaker. And here's the problem with that argument. So you've got a 3D printed part and you've got an injection molded part. And you say, oh, the 3D printed part is weaker because the layer lines didn't laminate. The injection molded part is perfect. Well, then I can just set down an aluminum part and say, oh, the injection molded part is weaker, therefore the aluminum is perfect. Do you see the problem with that? Aluminum is fine, and injection molding is fine, and 3D printed parts are fine. You have to recognize and adopt the features of each one of the processes. 3D printed parts are weaker with the same cross-sectional area as an injection molded part, but it's not an injection molded part. A 3D printing is not an inferior molded part. It is just a printed part designed for that process. Increase the cross-sectional area so that you have more strength in it. Use the benefits of 3D printing in lightweighting and other sorts of engineering benefits that make it a better option than molding. Aerospace uses 3D printed parts. Cars use FDM printed parts. Tesla has used FDM printed parts. There is no problem with 3D printed parts. You just simply have to understand the process well enough to actually utilize it and understand when to utilize it. So many people pigeonhole 3D printed pieces into injection molded applications without re-engineering the part. And you have to re-engineer the part if you're going to have a different production system. We're going to try to do, we're working on a demo video right now. It'll probably be a few weeks of kind of that idea to try to make it clearer. But basically, there's this idea of this false standard that 3D printing is somehow inferior because they're weaker parts, but they're not. They're just not, objectively not. Engineer your part for the process. 3D printed might be a weaker base material. Then you change the design and the overall engineering parameters of the part so that it's no longer weaker. It's like, oh, aluminum breaks and steel doesn't. Aluminum's garbage material, throw it out. Obviously not. But people seem to think that that thought process is okay for 3D printing and other plastic parts. It's just wrong. So anyhow, that. Let's see here, other requests. That's pretty much it, guys. Again, guys are going to get on me for the Patreon. And then let us know if you'd be okay with having spools shipped in just vacuum sealed bags. Or let us know if you're totally opposed to that, because we want both of those pieces of input so that we kind of know how to structure these. Right now, yeah, Filament is probably a couple, 2 to 4 weeks out before we start being ready to release something. And then from there, we'll see how it goes. It's probably definitely going to be a subscription model. But from there, we'll see how it goes. We got some more stuff to hash out. All right. Well, that's good. Let's let us know if there's any other topics that you want us to cover throughout the week. And as we go around to the next podcast, guys, this has been Layer by Layer. Have a great day.